There are moments when everything around us seems to fall silent. The voices cease, the once busy roads become deserted, and even the certainties that once held us up seem to have been swept away by the wind. It's in these moments of profound silence that the soul begins to whisper truths that were previously suffocated by the noise of the world. Asterisk when you feel like you're being torn down from within. It's not punishment, it's an invitation to rebuild. It's life calling you to look inward and rediscover something that was forgotten, your true purpose. Because while everything outside of you is in turmoil, what truly transforms happens inside, in silence, blooming amidst the darkness. Asterisk how many times have you caught yourself trying to please everyone, following paths that weren't yours, piling up tasks, roles, and masks just to fit in. Until the universe, in its silent wisdom, placed you in a season of pause, a time when the silence became so loud that you could no longer ignore it. That's the point where many fall into despair, but the chosen ones, the chosen awaken. Asterisk silence is not the absence of answers, it is the answer. It's in the silence that God speaks the clearest. When everything appears still, the deepest work is being done. That is the moment when you stop hearing the world and start hearing your soul. Asterisk, the rebuilding begins when you stop running from pain and decide to go through it, because it is through pain that the shell breaks and the essence emerges. No seed blooms without first cracking open, and you are being cracked open from the inside, not to be destroyed, but to bloom in a new way, stronger, more aligned with your mission. Asterisk, there is no reconstruction without silence, there is no purpose without loss. Everything that's falling away from your life right now, people, jobs, relationships, paths, isn't happening by chance. It's being removed to make room for what truly belongs to you, and that hurts. It hurts to lose what was comfortable but not true. It hurts to release what wasn't yours but made you feel accepted. Asterisk, and in the midst of that emptiness, the question arises that changes everything. Who am I now that everything has fallen? That question is the key. Because purpose isn't something you find out there, somewhere far away. Purpose emerges when all distractions are gone, and what remains is uber, real, imperfect, but willing. Asterisk, don't be afraid of the silence. Don't run from the emptiness. That's where the divine begins to shape you. That's where your soul begins to remember who it is. Many fear solitude because it reveals too much, but for those who are ready, silence is the sanctuary where the soul speaks with God. Asterisk, you're not breaking, you're being sculpted. And when the sculpting begins from within, the outside world no longer holds the same control over you. The opinions of others lose the weight that once paralyzed you. The external noise becomes a distant hum, because now you're anchored in something deeper, quieter, and more real, your essence. Asterisk, rebuilding is an act of courage. It's not about redoing who you were, but about allowing yourself to become who you were born to be. It's a symbolic death, the death of the ego, of illusions, of characters. And like every death, there is mourning, there is fear, there is confusion, but afterward, there is rebirth. Asterisk, you don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to understand why everything is falling apart. Just trust, because the more you try to control, the more life slips through your fingers. But when you surrender, when you accept, when you let go, that's when the flow returns. Asterisk, do not rush the rebuilding. Every pain has its time. Every loss brings a lesson. Every silence holds a healing. And no matter how much it hurts now, what's being born inside you is sacred. It's solid. It's real. Asterisk, there's a greater purpose in all of this, and that purpose doesn't reveal itself all at once. It unfolds little by little as you keep moving forward. Sometimes, you can only see the next step, and that's okay, because those who walk with purpose don't need to see the entire path. To keep going, asterisk, step away from the noise. Turn off the autopilot, slow down. Every reconstruction requires presence, and being present is an act of faith. Faith that even without understanding everything, you are exactly where you're supposed to be, because no new brick is laid until the old ones are removed. Asterisk, you are not your pain. You are not your mistakes. You are not what you lost, you are what remains. What still stands after everything else has fallen, breathing, feeling, and willing to go on. That is strength, that is faith, that is purpose. Asterisk, and when everything is rebuilt, you will not be the same. You'll be more whole, wiser, freer, because those who pass through silence and pain and choose to keep going carry within them a light the world cannot extinguish. Asterisk, you are not alone. Many are awakening in this very moment. Many are being called to rebuild themselves away from the eyes of the world. And when that reconstruction is complete, you will look back and be thankful for every fall, because that's where you found yourself. Asterisk, motivation you need, where your awareness expands and your soul finds direction. Asterisk, there comes a moment when the outer world is so noisy that the soul begins to scream in silence, begging for space. And it's in this silent scream that the true process of reconstruction begins. Not with words, not with applause, not with recognition, but with the quiet sound of consciousness. It's in that space between one thought and the next that the strength of the chosen is born. Because the chosen are not the ones who speak the loudest, but the ones who listen the deepest. Asterisk, when understood, silence becomes the most powerful of teachers. It shows us who we truly are when no one is watching. It teaches us to stop chasing distractions, to stop running after validation, and to stop living according to the script others wrote for us. And when we finally learn to listen to what the soul is saying, reconstruction stops being just an idea and becomes a rebirth. Asterisk, during this process, many will drift away. Old friends, relationships that once felt eternal, paths that once felt right, all of it may disappear. But not as punishment, as liberation, because for the new to bloom, the old must be left behind. Inner reconstruction requires space, and sometimes, emptiness is exactly the fertile ground your soul needs to truly flourish. Asterisk, have you noticed that the greatest growth in your life came from the quietest moments? Those times when no one was there to witness, to applaud, or to praise you. It is in those moments when only you and God know what's happening that your roots grow the deepest. And that's exactly why you're being called to silence, so your roots can strengthen before the great harvest. Asterisk, many people confuse silence with loneliness. But there's a kind of solitude that heals, that transforms, that cleanses wounds, and reconnects you with your essence. Don't run from it. Embrace it. Sit with yourself. Speak with your pain, your hope, your faith. Listen to what still needs to be said within you. Reconstruction does not come from the outside in. It comes from the invisible, the intimate, the sacred. Asterisk, so if right now you find yourself quieter, more distant, more introspective, understand that this is not weakness. It's preparation. Life is calling you into spiritual retreat because something great is being nurtured within you, something that will impact the world, even in silence. And when the time comes, you won't need to shout. Your presence will speak for itself. Asterisk, everything you're going through now has a purpose. Nothing is random. Not even the pain, not even the doubt. Every phase of the reconstruction has its reason, even if you can't yet see it clearly. The trust you must cultivate is the same trust a seed holds when buried in the darkness of the soil. It doesn't see the light, but it knows that one day it will bloom, and that's enough. Asterisk, take a deep breath, honor your journey, accept the silence as a gift, and remember, there is no true rebuilding without first undergoing deconstruction. You are not broken, you are being sculpted, and every piece that seems to have been taken away is, in truth, a part of the old mold that no longer fits who you are. The new you is being born with more purpose, more presence, and more truth. Asterisk, if this message is touching your soul, it's because you've been called. And don't worry if no one around you understands. Not everyone has heard the call yet, but you have, and that's why you're here. That's why you're in silence. That's why you're being rebuilt. Asterisk, don't rush back into the outside world. That world no longer matches who you're becoming. Many may want you to go back to who you were before, but what you were no longer serves what you are meant to be. Inner reconstruction demands letting go of the old identity, the worn-out masks, the automatic answers, because now you already know. Being true to yourself matters more than being accepted by others. Asterisk, the chosen ones walk through darkness not as punishment, but as training. Every dark night of the soul is a silent class in courage, faith, and surrender. It's in the silence of the cave that lions are prepared. It's in the desert, far from everyone, that the voices from above become clearer. And that's why you're here, being shaped by life. In silence, for a mission few will understand, but many will be transformed by. When you emerge from this process, something within you will have died. But don't be afraid. What dies is the shell. What is born is the essence. And from that essence, you will begin to live with truth, with courage, with direction. Your words will be more mindful, your choices more aligned, your steps more grounded, because now you are no longer acting out of impulse, out of neediness, or out of fear. Now you act with purpose. Asterisk, this reconstruction will also affect your vibration. People who once sought you out for convenience will begin to drift away. Places that once felt welcoming may start to feel foreign. Everything that no longer resonates with your new frequency will naturally fade away. And that is not loss, it's protection. The universe looks after those who choose to walk the path of inner truth. You are not alone, even if it feels that way. Asterisk, day by day, you'll realize that what used to hurt now strengthens you. What once brought anxiety now becomes a lesson. The traumas transform into wisdom. And the silences that were once painful become your greatest refuge. The reconstruction returns you to yourself, and when you reconnect with your essence, the world no longer has the power to define you. Asterisk, look at yourself with compassion. You've made it this far. You are going through the most sacred process a human being can experience. The journey back home, and the true home has always been within you. Asterisk, motivation you need, where your awareness expands and your soul finds direction. Asterisk, if this message found its way to you, it's because you were meant to receive it. And if it stirred something deep in your soul, then don't stop here. You need to watch the next video on this channel. There's something waiting for you that might just be the missing piece you've been searching for. Asterisk, let the silence guide you now. Let your soul speak, and walk boldly toward the person you were always meant to become.